In June 2011, 20-year-old Lauren Spierer, a bright and promising student at Indiana University, disappeared without a trace after a night out with friends in Bloomington, Indiana. Lauren was last seen walking home from a party in the early morning hours, but she never made it back to her apartment. Her sudden and unexplained disappearance became one of the most heartbreaking and mysterious cases in Indiana's history. Lauren's belongings, including her phone, keys, and shoes, were found scattered near her apartment building, but there was no sign of Lauren. Surveillance footage revealed her walking alone in the streets, but after that, she vanished without a trace. Despite extensive searches and an exhaustive investigation, the mystery surrounding Lauren's disappearance has never been solved. Theories ranging from foul play to a medical emergency have surfaced, but the answers remain elusive. This case has left her family, friends, and the public yearning for closure as the search for Lauren continues to haunt those who remember her. Chapter 1: The Night Before the Disappearance. On June 3, 2011, Lauren Spierer had plans to enjoy a night out with her friends in Bloomington, Indiana. She was a student at Indiana University, studying fashion merchandising, and was known for her bright personality and social nature. That night, Lauren attended a party with friends, where she was seen enjoying herself, dancing, and having a good time. It was supposed to be a fun evening, a typical college night. But as the clock struck 4:30 a.m., Lauren's plans would take a tragic turn. Lauren left the party at about 4:30 a.m. with the intention of walking home to her apartment, which was only a few blocks away. She was not intoxicated, and the walk should have been a short one. However, she would never make it back to her apartment. As she left the party, Lauren was captured on surveillance footage walking alone down the street. This would be the last confirmed sighting of Lauren. Chapter 2: The Search Begins. When Lauren did not return to her apartment, her friends and family began to grow concerned. Initially, they thought she might have simply stayed with friends or got caught up in the excitement of the night. However, as hours passed and there was still no sign of her, the concern turned to fear. Lauren's parents, who were living in New York, were immediately contacted and rushed to Bloomington to assist with the search. The investigation began as soon as Lauren's absence was reported. Local authorities, alongside family and friends, combed the area near her apartment and the route she was last seen walking. They searched nearby alleys, parks, and dumpsters, hoping to find any clue that might lead to Lauren's whereabouts. However, no trace of her was found. Chapter 3: The Discovery of Lauren's Belongings. A breakthrough in the investigation came when Lauren's phone, keys, and one of her shoes were discovered near the intersection of 11th Street and College Avenue, not far from her apartment. The items were found scattered on the sidewalk in a seemingly random fashion, but there was no sign of Lauren herself. Her other shoe was later found near a nearby tree. The discovery of her belongings raised more questions than answers. The fact that she had been walking home alone and left her personal items behind suggested that something had happened to her, but there was no clear evidence of foul play. The items were not damaged, and there was no indication of a struggle. The situation was puzzling. Why would Lauren leave her things behind if she were simply walking home? Chapter 4: Surveillance Footage and New Leads. As investigators reviewed the surveillance footage from the area, they found footage of Lauren walking alone on the streets at around 4:30 a.m. The footage showed Lauren walking in a calm and steady manner, not appearing to be in distress or intoxicated. However, the video ends before Lauren enters her apartment building, and she is not seen again. A few minutes after the footage was captured, Lauren was seen on camera near a building that was home to some of her friends. Witnesses later reported seeing Lauren talking to a man, but the interaction seemed brief and unremarkable. Some speculated that this man may have played a role in her disappearance, but authorities have never been able to confirm his identity or determine whether he had any involvement in her case. Chapter 5: Theories about what happened to Lauren. Over the years, several theories have emerged regarding what may have happened to Lauren Spierer. Some believe that she may have fallen victim to foul play and was abducted by someone she knew or encountered that night. There have been various speculations about the man seen talking to Lauren on the surveillance footage, but no concrete evidence has ever been found to link him to her disappearance. Others suggest that Lauren may have suffered a medical emergency or injury while walking home. She could have fallen, become disoriented, or suffered from a health issue that caused her to collapse. However, this theory doesn't explain why her belongings were found so far from her apartment or why there were no signs of an injury. Another theory is that Lauren may have simply wandered off and met with an unfortunate accident, but there has been no evidence to support this. Despite extensive searches, no additional evidence has been discovered to explain her disappearance. Chapter 6: The involvement of friends and potential witnesses. As investigators continued to explore every possible lead, questions began to arise about the involvement of some of Lauren's friends. Lauren had been seen leaving the party with her friends, but none of them had been able to provide significant information regarding her whereabouts after that. Several of her friends were questioned by authorities, but no one was ever charged or implicated in her disappearance. One of the key figures in the investigation was Jason, a man who had been with Lauren earlier in the night. Jason, who was one of the last people to see Lauren, was a close friend of hers and had been at the party with her. Despite the authorities' attempts to gather more information, Jason's statements were inconsistent, and his involvement in the case remains unclear. Some speculated that he might know more about what happened that night than he had shared with investigators. Chapter 7: The frustration of the family. Lauren's parents, Robert and Charlene Spierer, were devastated by their daughter's disappearance and the lack of progress in the investigation. They tirelessly advocated for more attention to be given to the case, even going so far as to offer a reward for information leading to the discovery of Lauren. The Spierers also made public pleas, urging anyone who might know something to come forward and help bring their daughter home. Despite the efforts of law enforcement and the family, no major developments occurred in the months following Lauren's disappearance. The Spierers continued to work with private investigators, organize searches, and raise awareness about Lauren's case, but the answers they sought remained elusive. Chapter 8: The legal complications. Over the years, the investigation faced several legal challenges. The authorities in Bloomington struggled to find new leads or secure any solid evidence that could explain Lauren's disappearance. In 2012, a grand jury was convened to investigate the case, but the proceedings led to no major breakthroughs. The lack of physical evidence and the fact that Lauren's case was highly publicized meant that finding reliable witnesses or suspects proved difficult. Some experts believed that if Lauren had been the victim of foul play, the person responsible would have left behind some trace of evidence, but no such evidence was ever uncovered. The case grew cold, with authorities seemingly at a loss for how to proceed. Chapter 9: Continuing to search for answers. Even after years of investigation, Lauren Spierer's case remains unsolved. New theories continue to emerge as time passes, with some suggesting that she might have been the victim of a random act of violence or a targeted attack. Others believe that Lauren could have had a medical emergency and may have wandered away, confused and disoriented, before succumbing to an accident. The Spierer family has never given up on their quest for answers. They have continued to hold vigils, participate in search efforts, and use social media to raise awareness about their daughter's case. While there is still no closure, Lauren's memory remains alive in the hearts of her family, friends, and the community. Chapter 10: A lasting impact on the community. Lauren's disappearance had a profound effect on the Bloomington community, particularly within the Indiana University campus. Students and faculty alike were shaken by the tragedy, and it served as a sobering reminder of how quickly someone can disappear without a trace. The case brought attention to the safety of young women on college campuses and the importance of taking precautions when out late at night. Lauren's story sparked discussions about the dangers of alcohol and the need for greater awareness of personal safety, particularly for young people living away from home for the first time. The community rallied together, organizing events and continuing to push for justice. Chapter 11: The Unanswered Questions. Despite years of searching, the most haunting part of Lauren Spierer's disappearance is the number of unanswered questions that remain. Every clue that was uncovered only seemed to lead to more confusion. What happened to her after she was last seen walking down the street in the early morning hours? Was she simply confused, stumbling home after a night out? Or did something more sinister occur during that brief walk? Did she fall victim to a tragic accident, or was she taken by someone with darker intentions? Why did she leave behind her belongings? And why has no one come forward with useful information? The fact that there are so many unknowns makes the case all the more agonizing for Lauren's family and friends. There is a constant gnawing question. Could someone have seen something that could shed light on the mystery? What if, after all these years, there is still a witness who is too scared or too uncertain to come forward? Chapter 12: The Hope for Closure. The investigation into Lauren Spierer's disappearance remains open. There is still hope that one day the truth will come to light. The case has not gone cold, and the Spierer family, as well as law enforcement, continue to hold on to the belief that the missing pieces will eventually be found. Her family, in particular, has been relentless in their search for answers. They have refused to let time dull their resolve. Every year, they continue to raise awareness, organizing vigils, attending memorials, and speaking out in the hope that someone, somewhere, will remember something crucial that could lead to a breakthrough. They believe that someone holds the key to what happened that night. And despite the years of frustration, they have not given up. Lauren Spierer's story is a tragic reminder of how quickly someone can disappear without explanation. Her case, still unsolved after more than a decade, remains one of the most heartbreaking and mysterious true crime stories, capturing the attention and emotions of those who follow the story closely. The pain of not knowing what happened that night in June 2011 is shared by her family, friends, and even the community of Bloomington, Indiana, where her story unfolded. While the search for closure remains ongoing, Lauren's memory endures in the hearts of those who loved her. Her story is not just about the mystery of her disappearance, but also about the unyielding love of a family and the strength of a community coming together to support one another. It's about the resilience of those who refuse to let time erase the legacy of a young woman with so much potential. Thank you for watching. If you found this story fascinating and want to learn more about other true crime cases, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep questioning the narratives that shape our world.